Welcome to another edition of a Brobdingnagian Minute. How long is a Brobdingnagian Minute? Well, if you're doing the quick version of Bog Down in the Valley, it's only 2 minutes. But if you have a backing group who's not paying attention to your tempo, then it can last as long as 7.5 minutes, and then you pass out.
Oh my God, that was good. I like that one.
And it's based on a true story. Doing that at Excalibur, I learned that very early on. I did it at Pub Sing, Bog Down in the Valley, and they set the tempo. So a 2.5 minute song turned it into 7.5 minute song, and my hands were like shaking at the end because I'm essentially inducing that in my. I'm just going. And that goes on for. If for 3 minutes, that's no problem. But for 7 minutes, I mean, you're passing out. Yeah. And I almost did. I had to sit behind the stage for the rest of Pub Sing and try not to fall over. It was. I learned that lesson well.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
You were there. I
do remember. Yeah. Which is why I kept trying to do that same thing to you in future later shows. Can I make him pass out again?
But I learned my lesson. I learned the lesson because that was crazy. That was really crazy. If anything, it helped encourage me to do it faster and faster. And faster.
Yeah, probably there. Greetings, all. We are the Brobdingnagian Bards. I am Marc Gunn.
And I am Andrew McKee.
And, of course, a bard by any other name
has a shorter bog.
A shorter bog, right, exactly. I don't know about shorter, but...
I think I like to I put in more verses.
We are talking about Bog Down in the Valley today on the show. We're going to tell the story of how that came about, I hope, because this is Andrew's song, so we'll discuss that. But before we get started, I want to let you know that we finance our music entirely through the monthly financial generosity and support of our patrons and fans. So if you want to sign up to our individual Patreon pages, you can access behind the scenes Brobdingnagian Bards exclusive content, and y'all also get extended versions of this podcast, bootleg concerts, videos, and first access to new songs. Support Andrew at patreon.com/Irish Bard. And you can introduce mine.
Oh, and support Marc Gunn at patreon.com/Celtfather.
All right, Andrew, what do you have coming up?
Oh, what's coming up?
Before we get to the story, before we get to that, what do you have coming up? Let's talk about that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
he just deleted my whole what's coming up list, and then he put it somewhere else.
On the show notes,
on the shared document.
Maybe I should have moved mine.
Well, you just deleted it, you bastard. Okay.
Seriously, what's coming up, Andrew? It's all gone.
Okay. No. Okay, coming up is
that's so hilarious.
Coming up is I'm going to be. It was just the timing that was freaking me out. Coming up we have the New Jersey Ren Fair. I'm going to be driving there next week, and driving to Jersey. Yeah. A little cross-country action, and going for 3 weekends there at the New Jersey Fair. And that'll be May 20th to June 11th.
Awesome.
And then I have, then I'll be back in Austin, and I'll be, believe it or not, teaching recorder at the Sherwood Forest Summer Camp.
Fantastic.
Yeah, just for a week. This is kind of an experiment because I want to start teaching recorder at conventions.
Oh, excellent! Nice.
And doing that, and I'm thinking this is a good opportunity to really give that a shot and see what with a younger age group, and just kind of see what they can do and what my options are. Nice. Because do I want to do multiple sessions or try to just do it in one long session? I mean, what's best here? So this will be a good experiment, and I'll be there at the summer camp. And then coming up in beginning of August will be Gen Con in Indianapolis.
Yes, woohoo! Excellent. And
so, what about you? What do you have?
And for me, I have, of course, my Celtic Invasion vacations to County Mayo, Ireland.
You lucky bastard!
I'm really excited. As I mentioned, and there's another part to this podcast where we the extended version, if you're a patron of ours, You can check that out. But I mentioned the fact that I've been getting things ready and getting my packing list ready and all that stuff. So go check that out as well. And Andrew, of course, talked about his Scarborough Faire invasion when he went to there last week or something like that. So again, go check the pre-show when you become a patron. June 24th, I'll be at the Lost Druid Brewery for their anniversary show. July 22nd, Burnt Hickory Brewery in Kennesaw, Georgia. And then, of course, Gen Con in Indianapolis. And I am so excited.
Now, the Celtic Invasion vacation, that's already, full. People already have all their stuff, and nobody can sign up for that now.
It's a little late. So...
Okay, but you do that every summer.
Yeah, every summer.
Is it still just
that's the plan? Every summer, usually first weekend of June.
So okay, so it's not always the same place. Sometimes it's Ireland, sometimes it's other places. So if you're interested in that, definitely check with Marc and get in early because that's those are pretty awesome.
Yeah.
For those of you who like to travel.
For those of you who like to travel. If you don't like to travel, what's wrong with you? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, no. If you don't like to travel, then okay, live vicariously through Marc's Patreon.
Right. No, I do absolutely love traveling. I love that phrase. What was it? Mark Twain. Mark Twain travel quote. That's why I have to look that up because it's such a great quote.
Well, I'm glad he has it memorized since it's so great.
It's me. I can barely remember my song lyrics, let alone. I don't know if I can find it in time, but I used it.
Okay, TWAIN.
It's. Oh God! Why did I bring this up? Why did I bring this up? It's gonna haunt me now. Talk to them really quick, Andrew. While I research this. Oh wait, Mark Twain. I know how to do this. Mark Twain travel quote on my website because I put it on my blog. That's what it was. I know.
Oh, that's
smart. That's smart. Travel is fatal to. Where is it? Here it goes. Travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness, and many of our people need it sorely on those accounts. Broad, wholesome, charitable views of men and things cannot be acquired by vegetating in one little corner of the earth all one's lifetime.
Well, that makes perfect sense.
I love that.
I mean, if you're in one little corner and you stay there the whole time, you think this is the best of all possible worlds. I mean, you totally Voltaire,
right.
And that this is the best, and everybody else is not as good. I mean, you start getting that mentality. Yeah. But if you travel and see there are different ways to do everything, different ways of looking at things, and that's not necessarily bad. I mean, that it really expands your horizon and lets you think about what it's like to stand in someone else's shoes. I mean, that makes perfect sense.
It's
travel is very healthy for society.
Yeah, I love the quote, but I just love traveling. I love seeing all the cool things you can see and doing. And it's not, we were talking, my family and I were going to Nice in this summer before my Celtic invasion. And
wow, that's nice.
Isn't it? And
I'm sorry, I mean Nice.
It's Nice. Sorry, wrong one. But we're like, what are we going to do? Okay, so what's in Nice? What's on the French Riviera? There's some great beaches, there's some great museums. But what are we going to do? Well, that's not our thing. Well, we enjoy being a part of these culture and the experience, just experiencing things. So yes, we're going to go to the beaches. But we're also going to wander through the streets, go to the markets, the amazing markets. We're going to eat food. We're going to have some amazing food, and we'll probably visit a museum, maybe a two, but that's not the big thing. We're not there to.
You're just there to make your kids rock stars.
Right.
That's what
that too. That definitely helps. That's true.
I mean, they're just rock stars. There.
But
what did you do? Well, for the summer,
I went to Nice.
I went to the French Riviera.
Nara yesterday, she was. We were talking about Paris or France or something, and she kept doing this thing where she throws her head back and says, "France, we're going to France." It was like, oh my God, you've nailed that character down. It was amazing. I have some very funny girls, much funnier than I am, that's for sure. The only other thing that I'm doing that I'm not doing actually this summer is I am officially pausing my Coffee with the Kilt Father and Pub Songs and Stories podcast for the summer, and both of those will be back in August. I keep trying to do that with my shows, whereas the summertime, which is always a crazy time, I'm trying not to overwhelm myself because I have kids to take care of during the summer when I'm not traveling.
That's true.
So those will be back in August, and looking forward to that as well. So. Any other news for you though? I know you got the shows, but how about other things? You got anything else going on?
Well, I am doing some projects for Life's Affair that I'm working on currently.
Yeah, because you have the Life's Affair video show. It's still coming out every Monday at 7:00 Central?
At 7 p.m. Central.
Wow.
7 p.m. Central, 8 Eastern, and it's that's definitely been a project. And the video quality, I upped it another level.
Nice.
The last two shows looked about as clear and pristine as you could get, even on YouTube. And I mean, even on Facebook, they look really good. So I was very happy about that. And I mean, I'm also looking at revamping the Life's Affair website. What I'm looking at doing is putting up a fair list of all the Ren fairs.
Oh yeah, okay.
And finally doing that. I've wanted to do that for over a decade. Honestly, it's always been a desire because I've never been happy with the fair lists that are out there. They suck. Yeah. They really do. In some way or another, some are better than others, but nothing's like what you want. And for the rest of this year, that's what I'm going to be working on, trying to get that to a workable spot. And the goal is to have it go live by the end of the year.
Okay. Fantastic. That's a worthy a difficult challenge. I had enough trouble trying to keep up with the Texas Renaissance festivals when I was doing, but you're also doing a lot. You do this, I think you do a fair list every week, right?
Yeah, generally, and I also I'm not going to be doing it alone.
Excellent.
Yeah,
get people involved. Excellent.
Yeah, I'll have to get people involved and people inputting data for me and things like that, because there are definitely some people interested. It's just I need to get mainly now it's just getting the framework and the infrastructure together and organizing the database and making it all work.
Fantastic. All right. Well, let's get on with today's story song that we have. We're going to be talking about Bog Down in the Valley because why not? And it's been a fun song that we've been doing. Andrew, you are the reason why we are singing this song, and why you are also the reason why we sing it wrong. So tell us about Bog Down in the Valley.
What do you mean sing it wrong?
It's an Irish song, right?
Right.
And so the Irish version is, "Oh, row the Rattlin Bog, the bog down in the valley, oh, row the Rattlin Bog, bog down in the valley, oh." And you sing it,
"Yo ho."
Exactly. So, way ho, the Rattlin Bog.
I've done both. But no. I mean, it's really it's a song. I mean, you just kind of go with the verse or the version that you've heard that you liked, that you prefer. I mean, there's no right or wrong. The thing I love about Irish music is you're thinking of Scottish, where Scottish, have a stick up their butt because there's a right way and a wrong way. No, it's not just bagpipe players; they're like that.
If it's not Scottish, it's clap.
But the Irish, I mean, it's all fluid. I mean, music is music. They don't look at it as Irish music or K-pop. It's just music. I mean, they just love music, and there are variations of songs all the time, and they're fine with it. They just don't look at music that way, and they don't look at it in a vacuum, and I love that.
So how'd you?
But yeah, I mean, but Okay, I came across the American version to begin with. See, what happened was the song "Bog Down the Valley," Irish song, came to America with immigrants, and it got shifted because in the South, where a lot of Irish immigrants settled, there are southern United States, that is, there aren't really bogs.
What? No.
So I know, shocking. I mean, you'd think Louisiana, but nope, not a bog. Just a swamp. So so they didn't really. People just didn't really get the song. So the whole, I mean, row the rattling swamp, the swamp down in the valley. No, it just doesn't work. So what they did was they changed the song and made an American version without the bog. And tree in the hole in the ground, the good grass grows all around and around. And in that tree, there was a little, in that hole, there was a little tree, prettiest little tree you ever did see. Tree in the hole in the ground, good grass grows all around and around. And they did it that way. That was how they got around it. And that's the song I first heard when I was about 4 years old.
Ah.
Living in the South, and I was singing that all through my youth, and then I came across the Irish song, the Irish version, and I was like, oh, this is even better. This is great. I love this. So I love Bog, and immediately jumped on that and learned it. And now, when we first did music together, I mean, we both brought a group of songs into the mix. I had a folder of song ideas that I'd been keeping around for a while that I'd printed out at various times over the previous decade, and this was one of them. This was one of those songs where I'm like, oh, I love this song. We should include this. So that got put in, and it's just a fun Irish song that is. It's one of those nice, repetitive tongue twister
Now, you
songs.
said you've been singing this since you were like a wee bairn, right? When did you start singing?
Oh, when I was 4.
Man.
I'm not saying I was good at it, but and honestly, the American version is less of a tongue twister, so that would help. Well, I mean, hole in the ground, green grass grows all around and around. I mean, that's a little easier to say. Way ho the Rattlin Bog.
Yeah, exactly. Interesting. Yeah, I do. I've always loved the song, and we talked about, one of the things that I enjoyed about it is trying to see if I can play it as fast as you can sing it, which I don't think has ever happened before. maybe once. Am I done?
Well, I mean, I kept
up with you once.
Over the years, I keep adding verses. That's why I said at the beginning that any other bard has a shorter version of Bog, because it's they have fewer verses. I've always been researching and trying to find how I can expand, and eventually you get to the flea and the eye, and then on the eye I found gleam, so I put gleam on there, and then I tracked down where somebody put the world, and in that gleam there was the world, reflecting in the gleam, and I was like, oh well, that's great. And then I got the idea of myself of saying, well, putting me on the world. So, and on that world there was a bard. So I just kept expanding and expanding it. And so then in each one you can go faster. But I mean, the beautiful thing about Bog is that there aren't any rules for starting tempo. I mean, you can start it really slow. And I always try to judge the audience and say, okay, what is this the audience that wants to just be blown away by how fast I can do this, or is this the audience that wants to sing along?
Right.
And if they want to sing along, you start it off really slow, and you always have you can always work with that. Where if you start it off slow and nobody's singing along, you can quickly go faster and try to blow them away. But it's it's good to give them the opportunity. And if they start trying to sing along, then you don't push it. You let them enjoy the experience.
Yeah.
And even the slower version that I do still shocks them, and they think it's insanely fast, which is cool. So, and then at the end, I'll kind of push into overdrive where they're all kind of like, oh, I can't keep up with that.
Yeah.
So it works.
I do like that we, even after 20 years of singing this song, because this was I think one of the first songs. It didn't make it to our first CD, but nevertheless, I feel like it was still one of our first songs. And even after 20 years, though, we still found a way to make it rejuvenate it when we created the Bog Off a few years back too.
Yes.
Which I think was just a nice little fun thing to do and challenge, especially since I can technically sing it. and I sing it, better than you do, but not as fast. So,
Better
yeah,
than I
definitely,
do?
man. You have this timing issue. You don't do this speed up aspect.
You mean where I have timing?
Lack of that. You just go super drive, hyper drive instead of building up to smoothly into a nice fast mood. It's amateurish, but whatever, I mean, not to call you an amateur. I'm not trying to say that, Andrew. I'm just saying,
Oh, no. You're thinking of how I used to sing it. Oh, I get it. That makes sense. Okay. Where I would, where I wouldn't push it to, I wouldn't do a gradual accelerando because I knew you could handle it. So, yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying.
I am looking forward to one day though, having Inara go against you for the bog off and demolishing you. Cause
well, if you're starting her at a young age, she may very well do it.
I'm starting her now, so she's already on the path. But then, of course, she has the added bonus that I don't know if you remember, like one of the last times we were going to do a bog off rather. I was saying, well, we have to have there's going to be like technique. If you enunciation technique, speed upness or whatever. But and then there's the general thing that needs to be added with her is that cuteness.
Oh no, that's not fair.
Putting on a good show. Well, Inara will tear you down, even if she.
Okay, I'm just going to do a close up of my eyes then, and
ooh, dangerous. I see. All right.
Yeah, fire with blue eyes.
All right. You have any other final comments you want to share before we head out of here?
Yeah, I mean, wow. Yeah, I guess just last things about Bog is that it just was it's one of my favorite songs. And I know some people will say that, oh gosh, I'm so sorry. I said you should do it faster or something like that because they thought I was really suffering on stage. And while it is a challenge, I always love it. Good. It's always fun. So I play up the whole, the suffering musician thing a bit, just like you're supposed to do. But it's always fun. I don't do anything on stage that I don't think is fun. Generally speaking, anyway. So yeah, I mean, a great time. Yeah. Other than that, no, it's been a great week and a great month. And the next month looks so much fun. More travel for me and crazy travel for you.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
I'm going to New Jersey, and you're going to Ireland, bastard, and Italy, bastard. French Riviera. I mean, geez, you're taking those European vacations seriously.
You know it, baby. You know it. All right. The Brobdingnagian Bards podcast is produced by Marc, Gunn, and Andrew McKee. Sign up to our mailing list and download free MP3s and get monthly updates of what's new. Find it all at thebards.net. Take care, Andrew. Slant, y'all.
Take care. Rattlin Bog in the bog down in the valley, oh. Way, oh, the Rattlin Bog in the bog down in the valley, oh. Well, in that bog there was a tree, a rattling tree with a tree in the bog down in the valley, oh. Way, oh, the Rattlin Bog in the bog down in the valley, oh. Way, oh, the Rattlin Bog in the bog down in the valley, oh. Well, on that tree there was a limb, a rattling limb with a limb in the tree in the bog down in the valley, oh. Way, oh, the Rattlin Bog in the bog down in the valley, oh. Way, oh, the Rattlin Bog in the bog down in the valley, oh. Well, on that limb there was a branch, a rattling branch with a branch and a limb in the tree in the bog down in the valley, oh. Way, oh, the Rattlin Bog in the bog down in the valley, oh. Way, oh, the Rattlin Bog in the bog down in the valley, oh. Well, on that branch there was a twig, a rattling twig with a twig in the branch and the limb
lem in the tree and the tree in the bog down in the valley, oh. Way ho, the rattling bog and the bog down in the valley, oh. Way ho, the rattling bog and the bog down in the valley, oh. Well, on that twig there was a nest, a rattling nest with a nest and a twig and the branch and the branch and the lem and the tree and the bog down in the valley, oh. Way ho, the rattling bog and the bog down in the valley, oh. Way ho, the rattling bog and the bog down in the valley, oh. In that nest there was an egg, a rare egg, a rattling egg with an egg in the nest and the twig and the branch and the lem and the tree and the bog down in the valley, oh. Way ho, the rattling bog and the bog down in the valley, oh. Way ho, the rattling bog and the bog down in the valley, oh. In that egg there was a bird, a rare bird, a rattling bird with a bird and the egg in the nest and the twig and the branch and the lem and the tree and the bog down in the valley, oh. Way ho, the rattling bog and the bog down in the valley, oh. Way ho, the rattling bog and the bog down in the valley, oh. On that bird there was a feather, a rare feather, a rattling feather, the feather and the bird and the egg and the nest and the twig and the branch and lem and the tree and the bog down in the valley, oh. Way ho, the rattling bog and the bog down in the valley, oh. Way ho, the rattling bog and the bog down in the valley, oh. On that feather there was a flea, a rare flea, a rattling flea, the flea and the feather, the bird, the egg and the nest and the twig and the branch and lem and the tree and the bog down in the valley, oh. Way ho, the rattling bog and the bog down in the valley, oh. Way ho, the rattling bog and the bog down in the valley, oh. On that flea there was an eye, a rare eye, rattling eye, flea, feather, the bird, the egg and the nest and twig and the branch and lem and the tree and the bog down in the valley, oh. Way ho, the rattling bog and the bog down in the valley, oh. Way ho, the rattling bog and the bog down in the valley, oh. On the dice there was a glimmer, flea, feather, the bird, the egg, twig, tree, bog down the valley, oh. Way ho, the rattling bog and the bog down in the valley, oh. Way ho, the rattling bog and the bog down in the valley, oh. Thought I lost you there at the end, Marc.
You did.